Guys, we got a 12-team Superflex PPR 1.75 tight end premium start 10. Scott, are you going Stephon Diggs in the 202 or Kyle Pitts? Go ahead, man.
Ooh, 1.75. So I know my league is going to like tight ends probably as much or more than I do. Stephon Diggs is old. He was bad. He doesn't have a lot of demand. And I'm also giving away the 202, which could be a good player, but it's probably going to fall at the back end of that dead zone where I'm taking a 50-50 shot at getting a receiver that's either Sky Moore or it could be Brandon Ayuk or somewhere in between, right? So I think this is going to come back to what do I always talk about, roster construction. Do I need to take a shot on hitting on a good tight end? Or do I already have Cade Otton and Jake Ferguson? In that case, I don't need to go right to Kyle Pitts, right? So in that case, I may take Diggs in the 202 and just say, what else can I do with that?
Yeah.
But if I don't have a tight end and I've kind of been waiting for a time to take a shot on one, I'm okay doing the Pitts side.
Yeah.
Plus, it's 1.75. So I think if I hit on the tight end, I'm getting a decent amount of points relative to my peers, but I'm also getting an asset that, let's say they signed Kirk Cousins or somebody the equivalent to where they can look to appear to have a better offense. I think in that format, I'm going to be able to sell Kyle Pitts for more before he takes the field. Yep. So I like the aspects of taking the shot on Pitts, and I've said it a couple times already. I like having Kyle Pitts for the next 4 or 5 months. We get to the season, then I'm a little worried, like, all right, is he actually going to be a difference maker? But I think for now, I like carrying Kyle Pitts over the next couple months for sure.
Well, I couldn't sell the shares that I had, so I've got a lot of Kyle Pitts still. No, I've always been a truther. Shane, you look like you're ready to talk Kyle Pitts and maybe Kincaid. Is that my understanding?
Got a lot of notes here on Kyle Pitts. Read a lot of notes while Scott was talking. He is young. This is a 1.75 tight end premium. I don't really particularly care about the 2.0. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It's the 2.0 whatever. The hit rate on that is like negative 14%. Yeah, it's negative 13%. I guess I literally just right now realized how old Stephon Diggs is. Like, when did he turn 30? Like, how did that happen? I feel like 5 years has just flown by. So you have an asset that's depreciating in Stephon Diggs. He didn't even have a good year. So it's not even like you could get that Devontae Adams bump after last year, after his big year, after his year 22, when you didn't get anything. So I'm fine with taking Pitts. Unlike Scott, I don't even care who my tight end is. I think I'll take Pitts in this situation. I do like the fact that once he gets a quarterback, I could then look to sell. The one thing I keep waiting for is Kyle Pitts to have some type of surgery that would explain why he couldn't run last year. I keep hoping that news is going to come out. If that news never comes out, that just means that he's broken his spirit. So you probably
I was about to say, is it the motivation bone?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to Ferris. Thank you very much for the hammer. This came in a handful of days ago. We appreciate the off-season hammers in between streams. We'll answer it on the next stream. So he's got a 12-team Superflex PPR, no tight end premium start 11. Lamar Jackson, Anthony Richardson, D Watts, Chubby Cans at running back, JJ. Come on, this is a hard job. JJ, Smitty, Pittman, Nico, Elijah Moore, Cans, Pitts, and Kittle at tight end. And then he lists off a couple trades that he did. So let's just start with the first one. Traded my earned 101, Anthony Richardson, and Kirk for JJ and the 202. And again, this is a 12-team Superflex start 11.
Well, that's Alvin Kamara. If that was Anthony Richardson, then that's a god.
Oh, whoops. AK-41. Yeah. Okay.
I still don't like the trade right now, though. Trading away 101, Alvin Kamara, and Kirk. I assume that's Christian Kirk, probably.
Not captain. Definitely Christian.
Yeah.
That was my understanding as well.
Yeah, that's a bad trade. Giving that up for Jefferson in the 202. I like Kamara. I like Christian Kirk probably just as much or more than the 202, and you're still giving up the 101 for Justin Jefferson.
It's the 101, yeah.
And it's a start 11.
Right.
My earned 101, and I already moved it for Jefferson. I mean, it's okay. You got a good team on paper, but
let's look at this next one.
Trades. Shane, what do you think about that trade? That's not what I'd be looking to do with my 101, giving up the 2 extra pieces there on top of that to get Jefferson.
I mean, I know we were saying that. Calculator's going to be like, no, you lost, bro. And he'll probably call you bro because it's real comfortable with you like that. Hey, check out does Dynasty Nerds have a calculator? If they do, join
Yes, they do.
join their site. Use Trades and 5, save some money.
Nice.
This is the cost of doing business if you want Justin Jefferson, though, right? You got to throw in a little bit of additional pieces. Here's the thing: the 202 cancels out either Kirk or AK. You're not getting anything more than that. I don't even know if you'll get that in most leagues. I know JJ for the 101. I guess you lean the 101 side. I'm fine with making this deal because if at that 101, it's a little early for this deal. But if at that 101 you were planning on taking Marvin Harrison, well, why wouldn't I just trade it for JJ at that point? The one thing is, yes, it is February the 13th. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. Good luck. I hope everyone's bought their wives, girlfriends, or significant others merch on our store because women love hammers. They do. They love getting hammers. All that to say, it's a little early to be making this trade where that 101 could appreciate in some value where you probably wouldn't even had to add those pieces as we get closer to the NFL draft.
So let's see the second trade that he made, and then I'll pull his team back up. But he sent a 25 first and Jahan Dotson for Smitty and an early to mid 25 second. So just hit that real quick. Thoughts on that value wise? 25 first, let's assume mid. Dotson for, Smitty and the 25 second. That's good.
Second over Dotson. Dotson's a can.
Yeah.
And I'm fine sending a 25
right.
first for Smith. So, yeah, good deal there.
Good one there. And then trade 3 real quick was sent the 201, 202, and Will Levis for Pittman, Chubb, and 24 third.
I mean, you're getting out on,
but it's a start 11 again. I mean, I don't know. Just have to look at depth a little bit.
Yeah, that's my only concern.
He's got chubby cans at running back. Like there's nothing.
That's my only concern is we ended up giving up, I believe, 6 pieces and got back 4 here, and one of them being Nick Chubb, which you can kind of miss me with Nick Chubb because I think I can replace him with just week-to-week production. So I think that's the only thing is you earned the 101 and you've now slimmed down your roster to not a lot of depth, and it's a start 11. So, I probably wouldn't have moved as fast, but, he might say at the end of this year, hey, I won the championship. I'm glad I got Justin Jefferson. Cool. Could work out for you.
Yeah, for sure. So this is from Finish over the week. Appreciate it. 2 hammers. It's a 14-team Superflex PPR, 6 point per passing touchdown, start 10. Mahomes, Anthony Richardson, Purdy, and then at running back, Acham, Pacheco, Spears, Cans. Wide receiver, Puka, Reed, Hollywood, Jamo, Shaheed. Tight end is Kincaid. 107, 110, 112, 201, 203, 206. And then he has 208 through 210. And then 225 first. The trade is give Purdy and a 25 first. He says, not mine. So let's just assume it's mid. The 112 and 201 and Shaheed and Jamo. Get Goff, Waddle, JT, Saquon, Jacobs, McLaurin. Okay, let's clean that up again. So he's giving Purdy like a mid 25 first, the 112, a second, and a couple trash cans. Getting Goff, Waddle, JT, Saquon, Jacobs, and McLaurin. Good Lord. 14 teams, start 10, super flex. But all right, who are his QBs? Mahomes, Richardson, Purdy. Are you selling Purdy like that? Is that the kind of trade you're trying to give away Purdy for? Scott, what are your thoughts here?
So the second part of the trade, it's too busy for me, right? Like, I guess I'm doing good by getting rid of Rashid Shaheed, Jameson Williams to get something. I don't need Brock Purdy because I have Mahomes and Richardson. So I have the ability to move a QB, but not for this. I'm getting back.
Right.
He's getting fooled by, I think, the names in the deal, thinking I'm getting 5 guaranteed starters. And I don't really like the 112, the 201, the 25 first. Like, go back to the side where he's getting.
Yeah.
You're
so
like,
he's
oh,
getting
man,
Goff,
I'm getting
Waddle, JT,
the proving
Saquon.
quantity of
They're all names. Yeah.
Saquon, McLaurin. I'm getting JT and Waddle. But
yeah.
Doesn't it feel like you should be able to buy Saquon for the 112 and Jacobs for the 201 and McLaurin for Jamo? And now you're giving up Purdy in the first for Goff and Waddle, you know what I mean? Like, it feels like it's square. I'd rather just do something else.
Exactly.
Can I add something to, because here's the thing, he lacks receivers on his roster, right?
Yeah, he's got
But
what, Hollywood, Puka, Jaden Reed.
He's got
Yeah,
Puka. He's got
But-
Puka.
he
Yeah.
lacks enough receivers, I think, but he's got 25 firsts. His running backs are fine. His quarterbacks are fine. He's got Kincaid. This almost feels like the team where, sure, if you can trade those guys for proven receivers, fine. Why am I adding Saquon, Jacobs, and JT?
I don't
That
like.
makes
I
no
don't
sense.
exactly. It's just it's the wrong type of trade. Like,
Yeah.
sure, you can make this trade, but not. This
Give me
isn't
some
the
innings
the
eaters,
style of the
receivers here.
process. Yeah,
Give me some
Yeah.
innings. And guess what this class is good for? Drafting receivers, right? I'm
Yeah.
okay drafting a couple receivers at 110, 112, 201. So
exactly.
get rid of J-Mo, Shaheed, and if you want to make a bigger deal, fine. But do a deal where you give up Purdy and you get back Waddle. Something like that. That's better than all the stuff. I'm not adding 3 running backs. No thanks. Your running backs are fine. Checo, A-Chain, and Spears, you're good.
It's
You're good.
so rare if there's more than 3 pieces on the side I'm accepting. And on the other side too, there's no more than 6 pieces, and probably 90% of the trades I make. You know,
Yeah,
ideally it's 4 or 5 pieces.
This trade doesn't serve any purpose. It's like, hey, I just
Yeah.
don't like these particular players because that's how I'm going to go sideways.
Yep.
I'd rather trade the 3 for 1, even if the 1 isn't as good, quote unquote, as Saquon and Josh Jacobs.
It screams I'm scared of making draft picks trade, right? Like I'm scared of what the 112, 201 could be because it could be bust. But I'm basically settling for Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley and Terry McLaurin. You know what those are already.
Yeah, I wonder what it is, and maybe he can comment on it, like in the comments of this video. But my head where it went is he didn't like the look of his team. He's like, let me make this team look cool. None of these guys can get injured right now, so I'm gonna feel good in the offseason. I don't know. That's like a hope it looks good team. Okay. Dustin, thank you for the hammer. Appreciate it. It's a 12-team super flex, half PPR, half PPR for running backs, full PPR for wide receivers, 1.5 for tight ends. So we can call that tiered PPR. Start 10. We have Stroud, Richardson, Howell, running back, Spears, Warren, Mostert, Gibson, Zamir White, Kendre Miller. At wide receiver, we got CD, Amon-Ra, Garrett Wilson, Kupp, Watson, and then we have Kincaid at tight end. Picks the 109, 112, 205, 212, 304, and all the future ones. Won the ship this year. Congrats. Want to tighten things up and improve. What should I do with Pitts, Kupp, and the picks this year? So going back to this team real quick. Yeah, Shane, it's a 12-team Superflex tiered PPR. Start 10.
Well, I mean, it'd be nice if you could go back to when Pitts and Kupp had significant value and trade them. What are you doing with them now? Are you selling them at the loss? I mean, really, that's your only question you should ask yourself. Am I okay with selling them at a loss, or do I want to hold them and see if they can accrue status once the season hits? We already talked about Pitts. I mean, now wouldn't be the time to move him. He's going to get a new quarterback. He's going to get steamed up in the preseason, assuming he can walk. So his value is probably going to increase. Kupp is one of those players, I think, unless you're willing to accept a mid to late second, then there's absolutely no reason to move them, assuming you're going to be a contender, which it looks like you're going to be. I mean, sometimes it just sucks if you have old players on your roster and you want to move them, but nobody's going to pay for old players. You know, there's no one in your league that's going, let me get this descending asset from you and I'll pay you full price for it.
So let me ask you this, though. Did you cover this? Won the ship this year, but want to tighten things up and improve. What should I do with Pitts, Kupp, and the picks this year? So that last part. Pitts, Kupp, and the picks, and if we look at his team here, he's he didn't even list Pitts initially. It didn't look like. Yeah, thoughts on those players? Kupp is tough to move right now. Pitts we kind of like because of aforementioned liquidity and whatnot. What do you think?
Aforementioned apropos. Again, it's not like you can add one of these picks to one of those players unless you're willing to add it to Garrett Wilson and try to tier up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm sure you don't want to do that. But if I were to add a first to Cooper Kupp, what could that get me? If I add a first to Christian Watson, what is that going to get me? Not much, because Christian Watson and Cooper Kupp in and of themselves don't matter that much in that deal.
Yeah.
So if you want to start 10, so it's relatively shallow. So what you could
Yeah.
do is see if you can combine any of those picks and move up to 107 range. But otherwise, you're at a range where I'd rather just take those shots where those picks are.
Yeah, that's a good point too. That like you'll see comments, and the comments are fine, but they equate a draft pick, like they understand the liquidity of it, but equate a draft pick always to a player, but forget the fact that you can use these picks to move up. Like even if it's just moving up a couple spots right now, because it's going to get so much more expensive to do so. So good stuff. Okay, so Brian, thank you for the hammer. Appreciate it. 12 teams, start 10, super flex, 1.75 tight end premium. What do you do when your expected 102, 3, and 4 turns into the 104, 7, and 9? Took over a trash FFPC orphan last year that was Josh Allen and basically nothing else. Now it's Kyler, Anthony Richardson, Monty, DK, Jacoby Myers, Gabe Davis, Cans, 204, 206. It's a $1,250 buy-in and has me struggling with keeping this team. Scott, let's start with you on this one, man. 12 team Superflex, 1.75. Start time.
Yeah, it's rough, but, and I'm sure Brian knows this, but in FFPC, you play for your draft picks. So it's very hard to actually earn the 101, 102, etc. Because the teams that don't make the playoffs, it's what Shane hates. You have to win the toilet bowl basically to get the 101. So 104 usually is the team that is the worst team because they end up at the bottom of the toilet bowl.
Yeah.
So he's probably got the worst team based on what he posted. It sounds like he bet on a couple other draft picks that didn't end up in the lottery, which is another caveat that if you're in FFPC and you're doing it, or you have a league that has a similar format, you kind of want to stack as many lottery picks as you can, right? Like not just yours, but you probably want another shot in that toilet bowl just to say, okay, I had a situation where that happened to me this year where I had 2 of the picks in the final 4 and there was no trade deadline. So guess what I was able to do? Essentially manipulate my matchup to make sure I had a team in the finals no matter what, because I had 2 of the 4 picks. So, that was a rough deal to get basically those picks when you expected to have the higher picks. Here's what I would say about FFPC. If it's me, 12 teams start 10, they're triflex leagues usually where, there's no kicker or defense. It's 20-man rosters. You have to cut down significantly, meaning like you can't just stash everybody. So really lean into roster construction. Guys like Gabe Davis, they're worthless. Might as well cut them. You're never going to get anything for him. Trading him for a third matters nothing because the waiver players are as good as those picks. Lean into roster construction. Probably draft receivers or try to trade for some sort of solid value. And forget about running backs. Guys like David Montgomery can go. Lean into roster construction. Don't invest anything into tight ends. Grind the waiver wire. You can turn an FFPC team around quicker than normal because it's shallow rosters.
It's shallow.
But, you got to hit on those picks. That's the other crappy thing is the value of stashing stuff is much harder. If you don't hit on a pick, like even a guy like Quentin Johnston is almost a guy you can't even hold in an FFPC. Like that's how bad that pick ends up getting flushed down the toilet if you used a pick on him and now you're stuck with him. He has no value. His value is I can get a random third for him, something like that. As Shane mumbles.
Sorry, I was going to say that's actually one of the few benefits playing on FFPC is that you're forced to cut Quentin Johnston. You have to, like, there's no you can't hold on to him. Like, because if you're in a typical dynasty league, you're like, well, I have 30 roster spots, so I'm just going to hold on to Quentin Johnston because he's a second-year wide receiver, and his situation could get better, and it won't because he scored under 5 fantasy points a game, and literally no one has ever produced after that, roughly.
So let's go to the crowd. Jeremy Ziggis. Hope you're doing well. We have 298 eyeballs in here, 20 minutes in. Good to see everyone. Appreciate that. He's got an inbox offer. 14 team Superflex start 9. Kyler, Kirk, any RB on a 53, Chase, Lamb, Pittman, Christian Watson, Musgrave. The trade is give Kyler and Pittman, get the 103 Hollywood and the 212. I don't like it. Like, that's my initial reaction. Now I'll try to consume it. It's a start 9 14 team.
Wait, I'm giving Kyler and Pittman.
Getting the 103 Hollywood and 212.
He's
The two-
basically valuing the
Yeah.
103 higher than Kyler in a 14 teamer. And I see, here's the thing, in a 14 teamer, that is definitely the QB2, maybe even the QB3, depending on the QB scoring. Like, you could see somebody say, man, I really need to take Drake May over Marvin Harris. You know what I mean? Like, it's at least a debate. I'd rather just have Kyler and Hollywood in the 212 in a 14 teamer for Pittman. Give me the better asset. That's not even close. Don't like the deal. Bad deal.
From Jesse, he says, from Australia. What's up, man? This is awesome when we have international folks online here. So I entered my first league this season and knew nothing about the NFL. With your player advice and roster construction insight, I ended up winning the league. Thanks so much for and then it's cut off. But I'm sure it was something awesome. I'm sure it was something. What do you think it finished with, Shane?
For your fashion tips and your dating advice. Also, your parenting recommendations, I think, are awesome. And you've made my life better in multiple meaningful ways.
And now I wake my wife up at night saying hammer.
Yes.
Okay.
I wake my wife up and say, "You ready for the hammer?"
And shout out to Jesse for being able to win the league, knowing nothing about the NFL. That just proves that you do not need to watch football
exactly. It's process
to be good
and
at
construction.
Dynasty. Yep.
That's
don't need to know anything about the game. You can just play the fantasy game and still win. Don't even need to watch the games.
That's not sad at all.
Can I share a quick story?
Yeah, of course.
Hey, what's up, T. Sanford? One of my favorite people in the world.
Yeah, I'm just putting up our friends. Go ahead. What's the story?
Hey, Ty Declare. No, I was doing interviews this week because, again, in the real world, I actually hold a position of some power and get to interview people. I know. I don't understand why either. I'll be honest with you. So the guy that I was interviewing, or I'll say the interviewee, I don't want to give it away, goes, "Hey, Shane Manila, I checked you out on LinkedIn." And I go, "Oh, man," because I don't share anything on LinkedIn except Dynasty Trades at 5.
Nice.
And he goes,
there you go.
Yeah. So he goes, so I actually, and then I watched it just to get a feel for you. And he was like, "So you're very analytical when it comes to fantasy football. Can you tell me how you apply that to this job?" And first of all, I was like,
"You're like, I don't. My analytical outlet is on the live stream."
Well, first of all, in my head, I was like, "Motherfucker, I'm interviewing you. This isn't the other way around." 2, I was like, "I hope he subbed and I hope he gave us a like." And then I answered the question, but it was pretty funny to me.
All right, the first earmuffs was at 22:32-ish.
Yeah.
Noted. Okay. Oh, that's awesome though. All right, let's go to another one here. We've got an inbox offer, and then we're going to get back to the hammers. Yeah, we're doing buymeacoffee.com/trades-in-5. You can buy us hammers. Keep it tight if you would. Keep it tight, please. There's an example of what we would love them to look like. And I think Jason in there, Jaycen, he had like a perfect rock solid one. Just use that as a model, but appreciate all the hammers. They are less of a rake. All right. So there was an inbox offer from TJ Richards. Thank you very much. This is from 3 p.m. earlier. 12 team start 9 Superflex PPR non-tight end premium. His team is Kyler. Man, look at this. Kyler, Anthony Richardson. There's a lot of teams that have Kyler and Anthony Richardson that we read. So it's pretty wild. Maybe it's just me. Chubb cans. Addison, Downs, QJ. Tight ends, cans. The picks are 101, 107, 110, 201, 7, and then he's got thirds and fourths. Offer is 107 and 110 for the 104, 206, and 207. Also plan to shop the 101 at draft time. So just to clean that up, 12-team Superflex start 9. It's giving the 107 and 110, and you're getting the 104, 206, and 207.
So I think Ryan McDowell put out a tweet today with some various mocks from big people where they're putting people mocking players. We think Roman Dunze is going to be there at 107.
That's what it seems to be, right? He's the 7 like
rookie drafts.
Talked in. Yeah.
Here's the alternative. If Brock Bowers is still there because it's not tight end premium, is that the because we're thinking the same thing, Shane. If Roma Dunze is there, I'm comfortable taking the side he's giving. Because I'd rather have the 110 because I think I might be able to get a future first for the 110. And all of a sudden,
Yeah.
if you tell me it's 107 and a first for the 104, I'm comfortable doing that. But if Dunze's gone, let's say he, Neighbors, and Marv all get top 10 draft capital, and then the 3 QBs are gone. Are you going to regret trading out of that pick that could have been Neighbors or Jaden Daniels for stuff? You know what I mean?
So here's what I'll say too, and this may be off base or something, but when I see 12 teams start 9 super flex, and we're talking about Brock Bowers potentially making it to 107, it seems like it's a casual league when you just look at the format, the shallow format. Brock Bowers, I would say, is going to go early, if anything. I mean, do you think that's fair to say, even in a non-tight end premium? That's just how I look at it, because we do our best. Like, we don't have any league context really. So
it's pertinent to the question because that is part of the analysis you have to determine. If he's gonna go before the 107, I'm actually comfortable taking the 107 and the 110.
Because
if he doesn't go,
literally doesn't list a tight end. So yes, addressing getting Bowers would be nice on this team, I suppose.
I mean, so the 104, I'm actually comfortable moving up to the 104 if it's obviously it's going to be for Neighbors. It's just the problem with that is if, say, I do move up to 104 and 2 of the teams in front of me don't need a quarterback and they just go, some combination of Marvin Harrison, Caleb Williams, and then Neighbors. And then I'm stuck with my Johnson in my hands at 104 going, oh, I moved up here for this guy and he's not here. What do I do then? Am I going to just be like, all right, I guess I'm drafting another quarterback that I don't need, or I'm drafting a wide receiver that I don't particularly want and overdrafting him here? That's my only concern.
Sure. Okay, let's go to the next one here from sorry, were you going to say something, Scott?
Well, I think the context we're missing here is he also says he has the 101.
Yeah.
So he's controlling the Neighbors pick most likely because he's going to not go QB at 101. He's getting Marv already. So right there, the fact that you're already getting Marv kind of makes me a little more flexible with 107 in a future first. Like if I don't care if I get Bowers or a Dunze, kind of like Shane was saying, if I can get a 25 first for the 110 and re-roll on maybe a higher end asset, I'm essentially taking one of the 2 assets and I'm getting a first for the 206 and 207 in a start 9. And that's a smash.
Sure.
So I think because I have the 101, I may be more willing to do it just given what my team needs are. Okay, I end up with Bowers and Marv and a 25 first. I mean, that's the smash side if you can get that done,
Yeah.
Yep, sounds good. Okay, let me remove this comment here. All right. So let me go to a hammer in the hopper. Hammer in the hopper. Quavon, thank you for your hammer. Appreciate it. Shane, it's a 10-team, 1 QB PPR, 6 point per passing touchdown, start 9. Kyler Fields at quarterback, CMC, JT, Ken Walker, Najee at running back, JJ Chase, DJ Moore, McLaurin, Hollywood, McBride and Pitts, and Komet at tight end. 101, 102, 110, 202, 204. Recently acquired CMC, but ended in last place. Being in last place makes me feel like I need to make moves. How do I win a championship this year? I mean, he must have just go ahead, Shane. I mean, he seems like he has a solid team, but go ahead.
Well, I mean, he has a solid team, but it's a 10-team start 9. So solid teams really don't do a lot of anything like that. That's where variance really kicks your ass. Like you almost need an absolute monster team to win. CMC and Chase. CMC had a monster year. Chase didn't. DJ Moore had a nice couple spike weeks, but McLaurin's useless in this setting.
JJ and Chase miss some time and all. This team didn't run true.
I do wonder how the hell it finished last, though.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have finished last. I mean, I don't know how that happened. I'm guessing it's not points scored, and he also had some bad luck. Maybe he's got some
keep joining us on these streams, perhaps.
But I mean, it's a 101. You're going to add just for funsies. You already have Chase and JJ, so it's not even like you could shop the 101 for a wide receiver. Because I'll just take Marvin Harrison over what's out there. Then how about this?
Yeah.
The 102, 110, 202, and 204 for Amon-Ra St. Brown, and just go. You know what? The gods hate me. Well, the gods. I'm going to go ahead and just put more hammers in my hand and smash people in the face with them. I'll have 4 of the top 5 wide receivers. If I lose then, well, then clearly I shouldn't play anymore. I mean, you could also obviously upgrade at quarterback. Can you combine Fields and Kyler and move up a little bit? Because every little bit helps in a league like this. JT, I'd be looking to cash out on his name because as Scott has been saying for a couple of years, JT really isn't that special, and it's really come to fruition the last couple of years.
I mean, he also, I think this is just an example of where variance hits you bad, because literally if you just piece together the seasons of Fields and Kyler, the seasons of Cole Kmet and Trey McBride, you should have been able to get production. Even Chase and Jefferson, they both smashed at different times. So it feels weird that this team finished last. There had to be something crazy about the way the season went, the distribution of like literally you were losing every week and you're going, how the hell am I losing? You know what I mean? But
right.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. That's a rough one, but you don't have any choice but to just can run it back. What are you going to do? Rebuild with the team you have? No.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to this one right here. Blake, thank you for the hammer. It's a 12-team Superflex, half PPR, 0.75 tight end premium. So I guess 1.25 for tight ends. Start 11. Quarterbacks are Love, Purdy. Wide receivers, Chase, CD, Watson, JMO, Lockett. Running backs, we have Pacheco, Ken Walker, Swift, Zamir, Ford. Tight end, Kmet. Picks 101, 106. Mid 25 first. The second part is leaning towards taking Marvin Harrison Jr. / Adunze and trading for a low end QB3 like AOC, someone like that. With my team, would you trade for vets or take 2 of the top 3 wide receivers in the draft? Caleb / MHJ at 101. Go ahead, Scott. You're up.
Well, it's a start 11, so I'm okay kind of slow playing the other 2 assets that I have, the 106 and the 25 first. I'm not committing to a Dunze yet. You're adding Marv. I mean, I don't really care about my other receivers. If I have Marv, Chase, and CD Lamb, I can get by with some just innings eaters, right? Like I can get by with buying a Mike Evans or DeAndre Hopkins, or like I have my foundation there. So I'm not really worried about I have to draft Roma Dunze. Can I move up and take another quarterback? Am I fine with Love and Purdy? Do I want to move up a spot and take a third quarterback? Do I want to move out or down to the 106 and add another piece? It is a start 11. Running backs we didn't see the whole roster, but you could get by with the ones you have if you have a bunch of other ones behind that. And then he didn't list a tight end other than Kmet. So,
Yep.
Let's see. Trading for a low end QB. I'm not even stressing QB3. Like, I don't know the total roster spots, but this would be one of those where if I could roster construct with just a bunch of backup QBs, I'm okay. But I could also justify getting a third QB that actually was an investment. Maybe Drake May's there at the 106. There's going to be drafts where people go, I'd rather have Neighbors or Bowers over Drake May because he went to the Patriots or something. You know what I mean? Like it's a perfect pick, or it's right in the range where you're going to get a good player. You just may not control what you're going to get. So I'm not in a rush to move it, and I'm not in a rush to just put a Dunze in there and say I have to have him because you don't need him.
So Shane, this is from our tie is what I put it in so I wouldn't forget. Do you find much success with the anti-leverage deal in best ball? Wait, this is going to Shane. We're going to save this one, Shane.
I think that should go to Scott.
We're going to go to Spencer. Thank you for your 2 hammers. Appreciate it. It's a 10-team Superflex PPR 1.75 tight end premium start 11. We have Mahomes, Hurts at quarterback. At running back, Chubb, Charbonnet, Dobbins, Kendre Miller. Could have just put cans, right? Spencer, that's the shortened way to say it. No, he's a regular, I think. Jefferson, Addison, Rice, Jaden Reed, Downs, Dotson, Kittle. 104, 107, 108, 110, and then 3 early seconds. He says traded away the 101 to get Jefferson. Traded away the 207 for Nick Chubb. What moves to make from here to contend? Love the show, guys. So, Shane, it's a 10-team Superflex PPR 1.5 start 11.
Smash the 101 deal. I'll just say that. And a 10-teamer, if you can get Jefferson with the 101,
I thought he said he
QBs
already
don't
made that
matter as
deal.
much.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
did say he already made that deal?
He said he traded away. I'm sorry. Yeah, traded away the 101 to get Jefferson.
Make
Right.
that deal again. Make that
Yeah,
deal
yeah,
again.
yeah. Great trade. Right.
Go back to his other picks. You still got the 104 and the 107. I mean, why aren't we still shopping for other wide receivers? I don't feel like reading the same names over and over. There's like 6 wide receivers that you should always be shopping for: CD Lamb, ARSB, Chase, Jefferson, who you just traded for, etc. Well, no, etc. That's the list. Or maybe find someone that's not in love with Puka the way they should be in love with Puka, and be like, here's a 108 and a 202 for Puka. It is a start 11. I know it's only 10 teams, but I guess we want to watch.
Is he holding? Sorry to cut you off. Is he holding too much value at quarterback in a 10 team with Mahomes and Hurts? Like, is that an opportunity to potentially make a pivot and tier up at wide receiver or something like that?
I would probably exhaust my other options before I dip into those.
Mess with that room,
right? Because I have enough other assets that I don't need to do that. I have Addison, who people like, Rashee Rice, who people like Josh Downs, right? People love Jaden Reed. Like, I'd be trying to move all 4 of those dudes and seeing if I could make some hay on getting a different, better tier up wide receiver.
Yep, good stuff. Okay, let's go to oh wait, Scott's up. Scott's up for our tie. Anti-leverage and best ball. Yeah, that is not Shane's forte. Okay, let me read this here. Scott, do you find much success with the anti-leverage deal in best ball, where you add multiple pieces of noise to your side of the deal to get the player you want? Example, in a best ball, 12-team start 11, it's PPR 1.5 for tight ends. Adding in Juwan Jennings and Tucker Kraft on top of Jaden Reed to tier up to an Ayuk type. What are your thoughts here?
Well, I'll give a shout out to Ty, who you may be seeing a little more on the channel. But on Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday.
Well, speaking of another thing that'll come out Thursday is my Dynasty Portfolio Weekly show, which will be talking about anti-leverage trading. So it's perfect for Ty's question. So I'll just say this. In best ball, there's obviously an obsession with getting multiple pieces because it's best ball. You got to have every roster spot pretty much with the ability to score points every week. However, with what he added, a guy like Juwan Jennings is essentially replaceable on the waiver wire. So maybe he's not a guy that would be dropped, but I can replace him with literally a body off the waiver wire. So he's worth nothing. And I do think someone like Tucker Kraft is a tricky player to kind of value because he's good. Could end up being the best tight end on the Packers. He could also end up just being like another Colts tight end where you're like, okay, he's just there. Usable for best ball, right? So I can see why somebody would go, I'm fine getting Tucker Kraft because he's probably usable. And I'm down tiering from Ayuk to Jaden Reed. So I can see why somebody would be interested in getting, quote, the 2-for-1 there, right?
Yeah.
I think the key in best ball is you need to build up your ability to make these deals on both sides. Ideally, I want to build up my assets to where I have the most assets that are usable in the league. So when I want to tier up, there's going to be somebody willing to do it. That's the difference between best ball and lineup. For everybody watching that doesn't play best ball, there's always the ability to tier up if you're willing to give up multiple assets that the other person could use. In a lineup league, you're not probably adding Tucker Kraft to a deal to get a better asset. In best ball, somebody's probably going, man, I need more good tight ends or usable tight ends. I could use that. And if you look at like the consistency / spike weeks of guys like Ayuk versus Jaden Reed, it's not that different in best ball.
Yeah.
So you can see where if I'm getting a free player, I actually am okay down tiering. So I'd be fine doing the deal the opposite of what Ty proposed. But here's the thing. If Ty has 5 draft picks and his entire roster is flush with guys like Tucker Kraft, then up tier when you can, because it's the type of format where someone is willing to play ball. In a lineup league, you may say, anybody want to let me do a 2-for-1? They'll just go, no. I always want the better asset.
And you hear about in best ball where you tier down too much to where you've gotten to where you now have like a bunch of pieces that have no value. And then you have to try to, work your way back up, maybe taking a loss back on the way up. But no, consider joining our Patreon. We're about to start a best ball listener league. That's right. We've got listener leagues popping off. Discord members doing their own thing as well. So patreon.com/allgas. join the Dynasty Trade 5 Patreon, man. It's been kick ass, and big thank you to Shane and Scott for being so involved in that. It's an awesome
Yeah.
community, man.
And I'll just
Our
say
hammers.
this. I do get a ton of DMs like, "Hey Shane, where can I find leagues with like-minded individuals that are degenerates as well as I am? Like, I want to be in leagues like you guys are in." I'm like, dude, the only leagues I'm in is they're popping up from the Discord channel. Like, I don't know where else to send you.
Yeah.
So I could tell you to join the Discord. That's it.
And Andrew asked where to find Dynasty Portfolio
Yeah,
Weekly.
yeah.
So every Wednesday or Thursday, it'll drop on the Destination Devy YouTube. So just subscribe to that, and you'll get one every week. And they're quick. They're like 10 to 15 minutes. And it's
Yeah,
usually
yeah, they're
like
nice and tight.
one thing, talking about like just my own portfolio strategies. A little bit different than some of the stuff we get into here.
Good stuff. Gus Goose, thanks for the hammer. Appreciate it. Shane, 12-team Superflex PPR, no tight end premium, start 9. Herbert, Anthony Richardson, Levis, cans. Charbonnet, Singletary, cans. He says they really all are. Jefferson, London, plus cans. And then Musgrave and Fant at tight end. 103, 109, 110, 206, 225 first, and 2 seconds. I traded away the 101 and 201 for Anthony Richardson and the 103. Now looking to move A-Rich for a top-tier wide receiver, and then move one of my late firsts plus for a QB, like in the Love or Murray or similar tier. Is this the right process? Going back to his team, Shane, 12-team Superflex, start 9.
So he had Anthony Richardson, Levis. He had the 101, but was like, nah, I'm good. I'm going to trade that for the 103, which is going to be some rando quarterback. Trade Anthony Richardson for what he thinks is a top receiver, and then move one of those first for Murray. There's a lot of presumptions here. A lot of presumptions. Kyler Murray in a start 9 is the type of quarterback I'm not going to trade to you for one pick, especially one random first. Maybe Love, but also I don't know that Love is the dude I'm looking to buy in a start 9. I'm looking for more people like Kyler Murray, guys that put up crooked numbers. It's a process itself, okay? It's fine. It's just kind of presumptuous. You know what I mean? It feels like you did a lot of moving around to not even be done moving around is my bigger concern.
Yeah, I think it might be overthinking it a touch, but okay. Gus Goose, thank you for the hammer. All right, let's go to we're gonna get a one in the crowd here. Balls' Life says howdy. Hello there. Do we have an inbox trade in here somewhere? Let's go to John.
One.
Okay, let's go to John Burns's question here, though. Guys, is a 12-team start 10 a shallow league? You guys are the best Dynasty crew on the net. Appreciate it. Yeah, so, and Scott, you can chime in if you want, but 12-team start 10, we consider that to be kind of like a middle-of-the-road league. Anything shallower than that, like start 8, start 9, we consider to be very shallow. Start 11, 12, we consider those to be deeper. So we consider a 12-team start 10 to be kind of middle ground. So just wanted to answer that. Should probably need to start the streams with that because we immediately start hammering into the start 9, start 10. People are like, what? Okay, let's go to, you said you start an inbox trade here, Shane.
Yeah, I definitely did. I'll pull it up.
Yeah, maybe I already got it. Let's go to Dax Suntken. His avatar always catches my eye. This wide receiver class looks deep. Does that impact how you trade off of vet wide receivers or your strategy for trading drafting/trading picks? What do you think here, Scott, real quick?
I think it makes the class more intriguing because I think there's just more options if you're looking to re-roll for a new receiver. It makes you a little more willing to do that. I think the major thing that we have to kind of do better as a community is quantifying kind of the risk reward of draft picks. Like we can go through the names ad nauseum and say, okay, after Marv and Neighbors and the quarterbacks, et cetera, this is where the class kind of has a tier break. And then there's a bunch of intriguing names that we don't know much about, right? But you have to kind of look at players that, like, you'd say trade off the 109 or 110 for a good vet, right? But what does that actually mean? Like, I'll just give an example. Shane, would you give up the 108 for DJ Moore?
Yeah, I could see myself doing that, yes.
Okay.
Depending
No,
on
and
the
Your
of my
voice
game.
cracked. You're like,
well, but
Well,
you added depending on the context.
No, I
So
know, I know.
you have
I
a
know.
middle of the road team. You need something to start, and you're giving up a pick 108, 109 for DJ Moore. A lot of people would go, give me the proven commodity, right? Like, I don't want to take the risk because immediately we think of it's like Murphy's Law, man. If I make a pick, the player is going to bust. There's no way I'm going to get lucky enough to hit on the next CD or Justin Jefferson at my 109 or 110. But when you make a deal, like you trade for a guy like DJ Moore, he's very good, right? But he is what he is.
Yeah.
There's never going to be any demand for him other than right now. And guess who's buying into the demand? You. You literally just gave up what the demand is and always will be for a player like that. A lot of times what we don't see is what if that pick did turn into the next CD Lamb, and not even
It
not
happens,
even
you
CD
know?
Lamb in 3 years. CD Lamb that after 3 months, you're excited to have him, and the community is going, holy shit, this guy's going to be the next star. That's where you forgo a little bit of value. And it's not even that I need to wait for this guy that I draft to outproduce DJ Moore. It's right there. I've kind of hooked the community on, I got the guy. You know what I mean? I got the guy that clearly is very good. What else can I do with that? It's a lot more than what I'm going to be able to do with DJ Moore during the season. So a lot of times we forget that part of what you have with a draft pick is a lottery ticket. And it's not a 1 in a million shot. It's probably more like a 1 in 3 shot that I hit on a piece that is worth immediately more as soon as they have 2 good games than DJ Moore is. So we just don't see that. We oftentimes look, man, I'm scared to make this pick. We feel very scared to make the pick now because we know nothing other than the names of the receivers. We don't have the combine. We don't have their landing spots, their draft capital, nothing. So people are just terrified of that 110 until they're not. Then you look back, we're going to look back. There's going to be one receiver in the 108 to 111 range, and you're going to go, man. And of course, 2 years down the road, everybody had that guy as their wide receiver 3. Everybody had him.
Yeah, of course.
Yet he was the consensus 111 off the board. So just remember that when you're trading away picks, the flexibility isn't just the flexibility of what I can do with the pick now. It's actually what can happen over the next 3 to 6 months that I have the player on my roster.
There's so many layers of it. Like the flexibility being, like having your foot in the rookie draft, whether that's, enough said. Okay, Cade, thank you for the hammer. Shane, this is for you, sir. 12-team Superflex PPR 1.5 tight end premium start 10. Quarterbacks are A-Rich, Deshaun Watson. Running backs ETN, Swift. Wide receivers AJ Brown, London, Hollywood. And then tight ends Pitts, Andrews, Muth, Kraft. Have the 101, 105, 9, 12, the 201, and 325 firsts and 3 seconds. Traded away Fields to get AJ Brown. Received an inbox offer. Send the 105, a 25 first projected late, a 25 second, let's call it mid. Received the 102 and a 25 third. Shane, it's a 12-team Superflex start 10.
I mean, I don't really feel pressured to make this deal. I'm assuming he wants to do this deal to get a quarterback. I'd rather just see what I could get with one of my, what's the other picks? I'm assuming other picks.
Yeah, he's got 101, 105, 109, 12.
Like, why wouldn't I just go see, can I give the 109 for, I don't know, it's going to be disgusting, say like Baker Mayfield, and then just roll out there next year with Deshaun Watson and Baker Mayfield at my QB2 instead of overpaying to go get a rookie quarterback who, I like their potential, but there's no guarantee they're going to be any better than Watson is. I mean, again, we saw what happened to Bryce Young this year, and he was the 101 in drafts that Bijan wasn't. So I'm not inclined to make this deal.
Shay, wouldn't you wait to see what's there at the 105? I may be forced to pick Jaden Daniels or Drake May.
Yeah, I mean,
and if I don't get a QB, then I'm moving towards, okay, can I buy one? Do you know what I mean? Like, you have so many picks. I don't think you need to address the QB need right now. There's just no reason to even commit. Because here's the thing: as soon as you trade for Baker Mayfield for the 109, you're now committed that you don't want a QB at 105, and the league sees it. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
I'm
Don't
just
show your
saying.
cards. There's no reason to.
I would say the 109 doesn't
It's a
commit to
safety.
anything.
It's a
It
safety
feels like
blanket.
I picked up the 5th-year option on a
Yeah,
quarterback,
yeah. Right.
and we'll see how it goes. You know what I mean? And if the 105 comes up and Jaden Daniels happens to be there, all right, well, you guys forced me to do this, so I have to do this. It feels like he wants the 102 so that he can just go, all right, I'm going Caleb and Marv, and then whatever, just be done with it, which I understand that sentiment. So if you feel, I don't know, Caleb, I feel like I have prospect fatigue. From that perspective, I am okay with the deal if you want to make it. I don't feel pressured to make the deal. I'll say that.
Yeah, so for people who are just listening on replay and stuff, it was sending the 105 and a late 25 first, a second, and getting the 102 and a 25 third. Yep. Good stuff there. All right, let's go to this one from B Mormon. B Mormon. I guess. I don't know. He got us 3 hammers. Thank you very much. 10-team Superflex, start 10, half PPR, no tight end premium, coming off of back-to-back ships. And he says, pay to brag. Yes, you do. Good for you, man. Appreciate it. $15. Herbert and backups at quarterback. Kyron, Kamara, Derrick Henry, Rashad White, JJ, Ayuk, Garrett Wilson at wide receiver, then at tight end, Freiermuth and Komet. Has the 104, 225 first, 226 firsts and seconds. Traded Burrow mid-season for 3 firsts and a second. He's got an inbox offer. Scott, give the 104 future second, get Fields, Rice, and a late 24 seconds. Thoughts? And then trying to flip Rice for a mid first. So it's a 10-team Superflex, half PPR, start 10. Giving the 104 and a second for Fields and Rashee Rice.
If you could give the 104 for basically Fields and a first, that's the only way it would be probably even close. It is a 10-teamer, but he does need a quarterback. And I'm looking at his team and I'm like, okay, how does this team win back-to-back ships? And it's probably because it's a 10-team start 10 and he had guys like Ayuk, Rashad White, Alvin Kamara. Yeah. I mean, he had the right combo of players, but this doesnn't look like a roster. If I just showed you this roster, you'd be like, this is a shoe-in to win again. You know what I mean? Like it needs some firepower most likely. So I'd be okay with it if you know you can flip Rice, but I'd be also okay saying 104. It really just depends. I don't value the QBs as much, but he may need a QB. So I just don't want to draft QBs with those high picks. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather try to trade for a QB versus draft Drake May with the 104 because it's a 10-teamer. So I think if you can address the quarterback position, getting Fields, it's not Fields for free, but basically you're getting a 25 first, which allows you to now have 3 25 ones, 2 26 ones. I mean, you have flexibility to go get whatever else you want to get versus picking, because if you're not committed to picking a QB there, probably if Neighbors goes before you, you're like, all right, I have to take a QB.
Yeah.
So like Shane, would you trade would you rather have Jaden Daniels or Justin Fields in a first?
Justin Fields in a first.
All so that's basically what it comes down to, unless he knows he can get Neighbors at 104, which I may be a little more inclined to do that just because I'd rather have the non-QBs. So I'm okay with it if he knows he can flip Rice.
Yeah, and this shouldn't be seen as like a blanket statement, but Fields historically in a 10-team, if it's going to be a 10-team, shallow 10-team, he's the kind of quarterback you would want to have in that space, to be able to put up Shane's crooked numbers. Okay. B Mormon, thank you for those hammers. Appreciate it. Okay, let's see here. Did I already get that? All right, I can unstar some here. Jason, thank you for your hammer. Appreciate it. 10-team Superflex, PPR, 2.0 tight end premium, start 11. Quarterbacks, Mahomes, Kyler. Running backs, Kyron, Kamara, Barkley, Cans. Wide receivers, JJ, Chase, DK, Flowers, Evans, Godwin, and Keenan Allen. Okay. Tight ends, McBride and Andrews. Picks, 207, 307, 225 first. What moves do you make to compete for the title? Or do you stay put and see how things go? I would love one of these top 5 picks, but don't know how to get it without overpaying for it. Scott, I believe you are up first, my friend.
Well, I'll make this quick because I actually think Shane is up to answer this one, but I'll make it real quick. How do you guarantee yourself, or how do you compete for the title? You have the roster to compete for the title. I mean, look at the team. It's a 10-team start 10. You're already rolling out Murray, Mahomes. You have those running backs. You have JJ, Chase, DK, Flowers, Evans, Godwin, Keenan, Allen. You don't see many 2 PPR leagues in a 10-teamer. You don't see that a lot, but he has Andrews and McBride. I mean, if you don't win, it's just some variance goes your way because it's a 10-team start 11. You know what I mean? It's a little shallow relative to other deeper leagues. So I don't know if you have any thoughts, Shane, but I don't think I need a top 5 pick here. If he's got to pay a premium, this is a team where, I mean, I guess you could move a piece like a Kyler or, DK or a future first in a deal. But I mean, what are you doing?
I don't generally like waiting, but yeah, again, there's no rush here going into next year, starting next year with Mahomes, Murray, JJ, and Chase. I think in a start 11, that's a pretty good foursome. That's like 3 of 12. That's more than 25% of your starting roster. The 2.0 tight end premium, he's kicking ass there. I don't feel pressured to move one of those first. I think he said one of those could be a top 5 pick, is what he said.
Yeah, sorry. So what moves do you make to compete? Do you stay put? I would love one of these top 5 picks, but don't know how to get it without over.
He wants one of the top 5.
He doesn't have. Yeah.
Shane, would you move Kyler and DK Metcalf for the 102 with the assumption you're taking Caleb Williams?
No, I have Murray and Mahomes. I'm fine.
So is there anything else on his roster that he's getting a top 3, top 4 pick for? Probably not, right? No, you already have the high end assets you'd be chasing with those picks anyway.
You're going to try. You could be like, here's Kyron and DK. Can I get your 102? How about Kyron, DK, and Flowers? Like now, can I get your 102, 103, 104? Like, sure, if you want to throw a bunch of those players at him, sure. But
so you go fishing with a bunch of shit bait and hope you catch something good, right? Basically, right? That's what you're advocating, not trading Kyler, Mahomes, Chase, or Jefferson.
And whichever
or Andrews or McBride. You're not probably moving any of those guys.
No, all the extraneous pieces and whatever 25 first happens to be yours, I'm okay with moving that one because I'm going to project that this team's probably going to be good next year.
Indeed. Okay, so we are 57 minutes in, 345 eyeballs in here. Thank you so much for joining. Hit that like if you'd be so kind. The easiest way to help out the channel. Scott, Matt Ryan is in the house, actually. Got us 2 hammers. Thank you very much. 12-team Superflex start 9, no tight end premium. Quarterbacks T-Law, Burrow, Levis, Rodgers. Running back Javonte Williams and Cans. Wide receiver, he's a longtime listener. Wide receiver, JJ, Ayuk, Diggs, Ridley, Downs. Tight end, Kincaid, and Ferguson. Has the 110 and 2 mid-thirds. No 25 or 26 first, but 6 seconds. Should I prioritize getting my 25 first back? He said he acquired the team without his picks. Or should he use his assets to go ship hunting? Love you guys. Thanks, Matty Ice. Thanks for joining, Matty Ice.
I mean, he's got his boy Calvin Ridley. He's got 4 quarterbacks here. So that maybe it really is the real Matt Ryan, although I would have expected more hammers. Can you donate about 500 hammers given how much he's made in his career other than 2? You know what I mean? Like, come on, the 2 hammers here.
It's not even 3. He couldn't get each of us a hammer. Yeah. He just got 2, Yeah.
So to prioritize getting my 25 purse back, I assume he's probably thinking like, he wants to just burn it down. He wants to ensure his pick and have it back in case he wants to go somewhere else with the team. I mean, Shane, what do you think? This team good enough to win? I think it's in a 12-team start 9. I mean, you got enough, I think, to not be a non-playoff team, but I don't know if you have enough to actually win it. But you have assets.
Yeah.
Seconds. You have things you can move. It's just how creative are you willing to get? I mean, you have 2 extra quarterbacks you can move. 6 seconds. I mean, you could buy points and get this team close. It just do you want to do that?
What's the first thing we do? We have an abundance of quarterbacks on our roster, so we go look at the teams that don't. We go look for the teams that have 1 quarterback on their roster that might be much better than T-Law, or at least incrementally better than T-Law, and we go, how would you feel about T-Law and Levis for blah, blah, blah? How would you feel about?
Would you liquidate T-Law for 2 firsts?
Oh, yes.
A 25 and a 26 random.
Why do you got to throw it in the 26
100%.
after the fact?
I-
Yeah, because I don't believe that T-Law is a needle mover.
Okay.
So yes. Yes.
I
So if
want
you
I
could
want
do
Josh
that-
Allen on this team. I want to overpay for Josh Allen. I've got Diggs and Kincaid. Sorry, go ahead, Scott.
But what are you overpaying with?
I just sold T-Law for 2 firsts. So now I'm going to attack 2 firsts on
T-Law. Okay, so you give up T-Law and Jefferson for Josh Allen in 2 more seconds. You do it?
Give up T-Law and Jefferson for Josh Allen in a couple more seconds.
No. Maybe. Probably not. No.
12 teams
No, I'm not
start
doing it.
9, and I have Diggs, Allen, and Kincaid.
Here,
But that really takes.
Well,
Think
so
about the
here's
points that you're taking off your team. You're taking JJ off your team.
Exactly.
which is-
No,
that-
I need to
and
get
I'm
a
not
first
trying to get-
somehow.
I'm
I
not
need
trying
a
to get
first
Josh
somehow.
Allen. I've already made my bet. I need to try to win without having an elite QB because I don't have the assets to get an elite QB, which means I probably got to move Burrow or T-Law, and I have to bet on the fact that I have Will Levis and Aaron Rodgers, and they're probably not worth moving. But why couldn't both of those guys get me by QB2 if I have future picks in the chamber to address QB if I need it, right? Like there's no guarantee you even get 2 firsts for T-Law. So would you trade Joe Burrow for 2 firsts on this team?
Yeah.
Best
I
deal
would.
you get. You would.
Yeah. As long as picks are worth something in my league.
I mean I think that's
yeah.
what you got to do if you want to get picks back. You probably got to move one of the QBs that you don't want to move.
Yep.
Because what else are you selling from? Are you selling guys like Diggs, Ridley? You know what they're going to get you? More seconds.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. So that last part is should I prioritize getting my 25 first back? No. Your first priority is not getting your 25 first back necessarily.
If it's in the deal where I move Burrow or T-Law, it gives me a little additional
Sure.
insurance.
That would
But
be nice.
if I'm moving Burrow, it's got to be at least my first plus another starter or another pick in the future. T-Law, probably the same thing. But I think that's where you got to split. You're probably not going, I can recoup a first selling Aaron Rodgers or Will Levis. Like that's not happening. And I don't know.
Yeah.
That's not happening. You're going to have to move one of the assets you feel uncomfortable moving and bet on the other pieces you have being able to score points.
So, guys, let's go to Jay Sapphire, who has an inbox trade in the crowd. It is a 1 QB half PPR start 9. Give Ayuk, get D.
Well, tomorrow, I'll say this. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. So hopefully a lot of people will be giving or getting D. And if Ayuk is the cost, maybe it's a league that you're in with your significant other, and they're like, "Look, you can get the D tonight. All you got to do is give up Ayuk."
It's just going to
I think
cost
it's a fair
Ayuk.
trade. I think that's a fair trade.
Why do I go back to the video we had where the person was trading with their wife? Would that have been enough on top of
Was that the
Jalen
same
Hurts
guy?
to get
Was that the same
Josh
guy?
Allen deal? I don't know. I have a feeling that D was not the D was cut off by actual player.
It was probably Devontae Smith and like some little leverage piece or something. But thank you, Jay Sapphire, for that reel, that upcoming reel. We got Curtis Patrick in the house. What's up, man? Hey guys, love the show. Appreciate it. Tyreek Hill equals Jaden Reed plus what rookie pick this year? Okay, Shane, would you rather have Tyreek Hill or Jaden Reed and let's call it the 108 12-team Superflex start 10?
Reek.
Tyreek over Jaden Reed in the 108. What if it's 107?
And that, you got to start at 105 before I even start thinking about it, to be quite honest with you.
In the Superflex?
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's 105 and Jaden Reed, I'm smashing that.
I'm just telling you,
I'm Reed not for a first, and all of a sudden I'm cashing out the highest of possible high on Tyreek.
I understand. Tyreek Hill, we were just talking about people, we get too caught up in the positional quarterback versus wide receiver. I have to have a quarterback that scores a ton of points, even if it's at the expense of having a wide receiver that used to do that I just traded him for. Tyreek Hill is a QB1 in Superflex, whatever you want to call him. I know it's a 2-year window. So unless you're paying me, again, I'm assuming I'm competing or attempting to compete. Unless you're going to overpay for him and give me the 105 Malik Neighbors and Jaden Reed, just say that out loud. Does that feel like that's an overpayment for Tyreek Hill? Really? I think that's fair. I think that's a fair offer. Then I will consider it.
He's a total hammer. He's a hammer until he calls it quits.
Yeah, and that's even if he does. The dude's getting divorced. He's going to need money. He's not going to quit football.
I think he's okay. All right. Let's put this up here from Jackie Moon. He says, Scott, that hammer hat is tits. It definitely is. And did you know Jackie Moon is in the Dynasty Trades in 5 Hammer League?
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I mean, maybe like a month ago he told me that, and I was laughing my ass off. It's like, no kidding. The infamous Jackie Moon. Okay. Let's go to what time we got? It's 9:38. Where are we at in the hammers? Okay. 1 second. Just buy me some time, Shane. Tell me a story or something. How's your day?
Oh, I had a lovely day. I've been doing evaluations for my employees all week. That is some struggle bus stuff right there, man. I will say this: if anyone's a manager in here, or you just need help with writing, Chat GPT. You just type in. You go, make this sound professional and wordy. Parentheses
and wordy.
Throw it in Chat GPT. Hit enter, and it will spit out a long, beautifully written. You got to clean it up a little bit because it definitely sounds like a computer is talking, but it's worth using. I've been using Chat GPT lately at work, so there's that.
Yeah, no, I have been too. I'm training a bot. Okay, to replace Shane. We have to have it on hand. Yes. Okay, so did we do Pistol Pete's? Does that ring a bell? No, right?
No.
We're doing Pistol Pete. He got us 3 hammers. Scott, thank you very much, Pistol Pete. 10-team, 2 QB, start 11, half PPR, no tight end premium, 4-point per passing touchdown. Quarterbacks: Anthony Richardson, Kyler, Daniel Jones. Nice. You can tell he is looking at the format there. Wide receivers: Chase, Addison, Pittman, London. Running backs: Achane and Spears. Tight end: Pitts. Picks: 101, 105, 106, 107, 201, 207, 208. He's got an inbox offer here. DJ Moore for the 107 and 208. Wanting to move 107 so I don't get boxed into Bowers. Is that a good offer or too soon to get off that pick? It's kind of funny. We're talking about DJ Moore in a late first. What do you think, Scott? 10-team, 2 QB, start 11.
Normally, I would say I'm okay doing it for the 107 in a 10-teamer, but it is a 2 QB. So I'm actually interested in having those 105, 106, 107 picks because I do think that there's going to be a QB that falls there. If not, you take Neighbors, and we haven't talked much about them, but in a 2 QB, even a 10-teamer, I'd be interested in that 107, taking somebody like JJ McCarthy or moving back a spot and taking him because you have Richardson and Kyler already. So you don't have to have a QB, but I wouldn't mind getting another one. I just don't really want to pay for it. So I kind of am okay not taking the deal on the table here because I don't think you're getting boxed in. And I still rather have the flexibility of what that 107 could be versus doing this right now. So I'm passing because he's paying a tax too, right? He's adding the 208, which is the 206 in a 12-teamer on top of the 107 to get DJ Moore. Yeah, I'm good passing. Keep the pick.
Initially, I thought he was trading for DJ Moore. Oh, wait, he is trading for DJ Moore.
Yes, no, he's giving up 2 picks. He's giving up the 107 and a mid-second.
And we just talked about the liquidity of
like
we talked about the liquidity of a 108, I think, versus DJ Moore. The 107 is just more extra liquidier. So we're going to go with that.
Liam's going to do the Shane versus English language scoreboard thing, which Shane you've never seen probably, but Scott knows what I'm talking about.
Well, if you put it on
people in the crowd do too.
Put it in the early parts of the video and then,
But you don't watch any of it and you think that shorts are allowed to be 2 minutes long. Okay. Yes. Pistol Pete, thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay. Let's remove this here. Oh, that was close. All right. Almost ended the stream. No, I'm kidding. Okay. Kevin from Ireland got us 3 hammers. Thank you, sir. Oh, and by the way, the hammer store, the hardware store, where we also sell coffee is closed for the evening. So anybody after Chase will be addressed this week and or on the stream, but send us some hammers during the week. We'll answer them. Let's try that out. We're going to test that this week. So shoot us a hammer. Buymeacoffee.com #TradesinFive. Appreciate everyone who's given it to us. And yeah, 357 people in here. This is fun, man. Kevin from Ireland. 3 hammers. Thank you, sir. 12-team Superflex, start 9, half PPR, 4 point per passing touchdown, no tight end premium. Anthony Richardson, Herbert, Cans at running back, Puka, JJ, Ayuk, JSN, T, Downs at wide receiver, Kraft, and lots of meh wide receivers too. Have the 103, 106, 111, multiple seconds and thirds, also 425 firsts, and way more picks for 25 and 26 too. His question is, move up to the 108 from 111 if I can, or just sit tight? And then what should he do with Howell, AOC types? And the first part of his message was best Dynasty content available. Highlight of the week is the Tuesday stream. Keep grinding. Thank you, man. So what do you think,
Kevin?
Scott?
Kevin, go back and listen to my Destination Dynasty roster construction series. It'll give you some of the answers about what to do with guys like Howell and Aiden O'Connell, aka you can't do anything more with them versus what they can give your team. So you're probably wanting to keep them unless there's some ability you can sell high on them where, okay, they're going to be the starter, which Shane, if Sam Howell or Aiden O'Connell is named the starter to start the year, are you buying into that being a long-term thing, or is that more of the team just decided to punt one more year, right?
I'm not falling for that again, Sam Howell.
If they're backups, though, I'd rather have them on my roster than sell them for what probably someone will pay for. And then you mentioned lots of May wide receivers too. Why? If you have receivers lower than Josh Downs in a start 9, you probably shouldn't have those receivers. I'd rather have quarterbacks. I'd rather have running backs. So listen to that just to kind of give you an idea how to have better roster construction. Other than that, I mean, you got a good team, right? Herbert, A-Rich, Puka, JJ, Ayuk, JSN, T. I mean, right there, that's enough in a start 7 or start 9 to have the foundation to contend. We don't know what your tight end is outside of Kraft. I assume he's your best one, which is why you listed just him. And then he's got all these picks. I mean, 103,
he's got tons of picks.
This is probably one, Clay, where I'm willing to take Brock Bowers at the 106 just because I don't have any tight ends and it's a start 9. Like maybe I just take him and hope that he hits. But then you also have extra 26 picks and 25 picks, and you have the 103, which you probably can be flexible with that. It can be anything you want it to be. So just roster construct better. I think you have enough assets to win. That would be my advice. Yeah.
And you can always, when I looked at this too, you can always come back up into the 24 first as well. So you've got 425 firsts, and then you have the 111, 106. I mean, spend up and get another piece. You have a team. You can, I mean, this team can win, right, Shane? Like clearly it's a 12-team start 9. So yeah,
Scott
get aggressive, start buying.
Exactly. I'd be depleting my picks. JSN, T, Downs, they'd all be on another team by the end of tonight. Fuck that. You got all these picks. You know what? That's a gift from God. And if you don't trade them and get hammers, then you are anti-God. Yeah. I don't know.
Perfect. Yeah. Oh, we got a snort too. Thank you. Thank you, Zach T, for the hammer. 12-team Superflex PPR start 10. Have the 105, 108, 109. Best way to liquidate the draft capital to compete for 24 has Herbert, Bryce Young, Carr, K9. It always does it. Ken Walker, Javonte, Kendre Miller, Olave, Waddle, Debo, Kirk, Jaden Reed, Cooper, and Pitts. Scott, so it is a 12-team Superflex start 10, and he's asking, what's the best way to liquidate this draft capital if you want to compete? 105, 108, 109.
Well, I'm going to kick this one to Shane. Shane, can this team compete in 2024?
What was the rest of the team again? Go show me that, please.
About as mid or sub-mid as it gets.
It's got
thing.
Herbert, Bryce Young, Carr, Ken Walker, Javonte. Ooh, yeah. This is a how many team league is it? 12. This is a 9th place finisher.
And it's how many starts?
Start 10.
I mean, start 10. I could get us the 4th here. I could do that. I could do that. We're not going to have any draft capital left, and I don't know. I don't know how we're going to feel about it long term. Like we might make some moves where we're like, ah, crap, did I really trade for Tyreek Hill on this team? And somehow I don't have a 25 first. So to Scott's point,
And I
think,
already have Waddle.
You gutted everything to get fourth, Shane. How are
Yeah.
you feeling now when you orphan this team next January?
right. Kendra Miller, like you named Kendra Miller and Javante at running back. Like that hurts me. I think Scott is right. This team's closer to mid than elite. I will say test the market on what's that guy's name? Justin Herbert, just to see what it is.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to sell him, but just test the market. Can you make a deal like Joe Burrow plus for him? Someone that's in his tier and just get some extra capital.
Yep. Okay, let's go to Scott here from T-Law Shampoo. Thank you for the hammer. 12-team Superflex, start 10, PPR, 1.5 for tight ends. Just finished a dispersal. Fields, Pickett, Mack, and Daniel Jones at quarterback. A.J. Brown, Waddle, Flowers, Terry McLaurin, Christian Watson at wide receiver. Cans at running back. It still makes me laugh to this day. And at this time of night, I'm very thirsty and tired. 102, 103, 206, 208, all future capital. Second part is, would you be looking just to make the 2 and 3 picks and insert them into the lineup, or use them to upgrade from Flowers, Pickett to active players? So it's a 12-team Superflex, start 10, 1.5 for tight ends. Just finished the dispersal. Scott, what do you think here? What do you think about this team?
I mean, there's a chance that the Steelers upgrade from Pickett with Justin Fields. And the problem is you have 3 QBs with Pickett, Mac Jones, and Daniel Jones, which have 0 value. So, I mean, I don't know what the dispersal looked like. Those are probably not guys I'm targeting in a dispersal anyway, right? Because I'm already like what do you feel if you have all 3 of those QBs? You're just begging for somebody to trade for them in some capacity, right?
Or you're begging for them to like produce also, because
they have to start
because you're not going to be able to sell. Yeah, I know. You're begging for anything.
Yeah. So I'm drafting at least 1 QB at the 102, 103. I mean, I guess you could punt QB and just go, non QBs. If Marv goes there, you just go Marv and Neighbors, and you say, I'm just riding this league out with crappy QBs and just continually try to just band-aid it together. But I'm probably going with a QB, and then those are your 2 best assets, right? Those 2 picks, that and A.J. Brown. Like, what can I move back? Can I get future assets? Is there any chance I can move any of those QBs in a package for any future value? Can I get, Mac Jones in the 208? Can it get me a future second? You know what I mean? Like anything like that kicks it to the future, because he does have his future capital. But interesting dispersal. Shane, if you were in a dispersal and you weren't contending, would you even bother picking guys like Mac Jones and Kenny Pickett?
If we're at the last 3 rounds and they won't let me quit the draft.
Over second or third round rookie picks.
No, not a chance. Not a chance in holy hell would I do that. No, Pickett and Fields, Pickett and Mac Jones are absolute. Absolutely.
Danny Dimes he should start. He should give you a year to.
I didn't even look at Danny Jones. I'm just talking about Pickett and Mac. Yeah. No, there's nothing to see.
No value in them.
Pickett, they don't like him. Mac, he got benched for what's his name? Bailey Zappi repeatedly. And,
Yep. Okay, let's pull up one of the starred ones here. This one from THB11. Are there any NFL free agents you guys are buying at cost, hoping for an improved situation? Whoever wants to start, got to make a banner here.
What comes to your mind, Shane? You buying any free agent running backs, or are you waiting?
I mean, you're putting me in a position where I'm not buying running backs because they're free agents or not. I'm buying running backs because I can get a value deal on them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, can I get Joe Mixon free, or not free, but at a decent price? He's a free agent, Joe Mixon?
No, he's still on the roster. I think he will get cut, but that's a second.
Joe
free
Mixon,
agents meaning, I mean, here's the thing. You have to figure out what guys are going to be free agents outside of the running backs. Probably not Higgins, probably not Pittman. You know what I mean? Like, so there's going to be, who are we even referring to outside of running backs that are free agents? Are you buying? I'll give an example. If we're just talking guys, and I want to use the word buy loosely, because the whole goal with some of these guys is I don't want to buy them. I want to try to like get them. essentially for free. Like Noah Fant, I will get for free. I still think he's okay. And he probably just needs a situation to be a little better on paper for me to be able to sell him for something, whereas I can probably get him for nothing. There's some QBs I would take at discounts. I mean, I would buy Russell Wilson. He's super cheap. He probably starts. Same with some of the other free agent QBs that are worth almost nothing because they're free agents. But we're talking like really low level buys here. Like, Shane, are you giving up 2/3 for Devin Singletary?
I am. That's my boy.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of deal where somebody, if you could get 2/3 for a free agent running back that's been basically a jag for his career, you would consider doing that the other way, right?
Whoa. You're talking about some other guy that's not Devin Singletary.
2 seconds for Tony Pollard, Shane. Apparently he says he's healthy now.
Because
of course he says that going into free agency, right? He doesn't want to not be not healthy.
1 second, bro. I'll get you Tony Pollard off of me for being honest.
Would you buy Antonio Gibson for 2/3?
No, I will buy for 1/3.
Okay. I mean, any names come to mind for you, Clay, that you would buy? For me, it's just all cheap guys. There's no
that's
no
what
high-end free agents that I'm really interested in.
There's no running back that I'm looking at and going, oh, if DeAndre Swift signs here and Saquon signs there, then I'm really going to make out. Like, I don't want to pay that. Like, that's baked into the cost.
Yeah.
People are already thinking that. So they're like, you got to give me a second.
And can you get Mike Evans or DeAndre Hopkins cheaper because they're free agents, or do people just assume they are what they are and wherever they land, they land? You know what I mean? It's not like they're cheaper because they're free agents. It feels like they're already known quantities.
They're not going to go up in value. They're not going to go down. We know what they are, regardless of where they go. It's not like, oh, Mike Evans goes to Tennessee. Yeah, just using Hopkins' spot as an example. Him going there, oh, his value is going to tank. Well, he wasn't liquid anyway. Just hoping he still produces. Okay, let me go to this one that I was putting in the hopper from Casey Williams. Thank you for the hammer. Shane, 12-team Superflex PPR, no tight end premium, Dak at quarterback, Brees, James Conner at running back, Ayuk, Pittman at wide receiver, then at tight end. He mixed Njoku in there in the middle just to mess with me or something. Dak, Brees, James Conner, Ayuk, Pittman, Godwin, Kupp, Lockett, Herbert, and Njoku at tight end. Notable bench is Ramondre, Christian Watson, and the Dortch. I get how he did it. Took second last year. Dealt my 24 first, hoping to win. Is this team good enough to win a ship? Where would you add / target? What do you think here, Shane? 12-team super flex PPR. We don't have starters, but I'm gonna guess 9 or 10.
It's super flex, and he named one quarterback.
Yep.
Okay, well, that's probably one of the first places I'd look is a quarterback, because I would
or she, perhaps,
or them, they, whatever. I don't know a lot of things. But yeah, I'd probably look to adding a quarterback. I'm looking to see if I can trade off of Brees for a lower tiered running back and pick up another first while we're at it. I would like to upgrade at wide receiver, though I like Ayuk and Pittman, Godwin, Kupp, Lockett. Oh wait, is Herbert? Is Herbert down there with the wide receivers?
It's a super flex. Who's reading down the lineup is what I realized. But then, yeah, Herbert might be in the super flex spot. That might be what it is. So that's 1, 2.
So I would not worry about the quarterback, although it is. We still don't know how many starters it is.
It might be a start 10 super flex with Justin Herbert in the.
Literally count the players. Yeah. It's 10.
It is.
I want to count, Scott. It's late.
It's 12 teams start, and he literally went down. He read the quarterback, the 2 running backs,
right down the roster,
the tight end, the 3 flexes, and the super flex. So it is a start 10. You have Ramondre and Christian Watson on the bench. No picks whatsoever. This feels very fragile.
So broad strokes, I probably want to move off of Brees and try to get myself some capital. Is there anyone that's willing to give me 107 or higher for Pittman? Can I do like 107 in a late second? I like Pittman, but I'd like to get some capital for him. No one's buying Godwin. No one's buying Kupp. No one's buying Lockett. Your notable bench is notable to no one but you. So you can't sell any of those players. And he has no draft capital.
Do you move off Justin Herbert here if you can get Brock Purdy in 2 seconds or Brock Purdy in a starter or something like that?
It's got to be. A first. There's got to be a first involved.
25 first, mid to late, and a Brock Purdy for Justin Herbert. You doing that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have. We were talking about Brock Purdy this evening in the Heisman chat, the voice chat, and I don't know that I have Brock Purdy that. Oh, that's going to be blasphemy. That much below Justin Herbert. I'm probably going to get blown up on the YouTube, so timestamp that. Getting a first, and you need other stuff in this league.
That's
the
the
problem.
key.
Your team
you need to find ways to create value on your team with what you have.
Yeah,
and you only find ways to tear down for value and still try to thread the needle and compete. So it's probably Brees and Herbert, like Shane said. That's
literally the only two. And if you can find the 49er fan, if they stop crying for 5 minutes, you could try to trade them Ayuk.
Yep. Okay, Mr. Martinez, Yafet Martinez. Mr. Martinez, put how to say your first name in the comments wherever you end up putting them next. 12 teams start 8, tight end premium, 1.5 for them, full PPR for the rest. Quarterbacks, Stroud, Dak. Running backs, Ramondre Stevenson, Khalil Herbert. Wide receivers, Nico, Puka, JSN, Terry McLaurin, Dotson. Tight ends, Ferguson and Otten. Yes, the 101, 103, 105, 111, 201. The ideal process would be Harrison, Brock, May, McCarthy, or Nix, then running back or wide receiver at the 201. Traded Jordan Love and Wicks for Dak, 25 first, mid to late, Stevenson and Mike Williams. Is that a good trade? I like that. I like that trade at the end there. But what do you think here, Scott? It's a 12-team start 8, 1.5 for tight ends. Go ahead.
Well, it's a 12-team start 8, like you said. And what I'm probably not looking to do is draft Bo Nix or JJ McCarthy with the 105, like he mentioned. I see the tight end need, but do I really need a tight end when I have Jake Ferguson with Dak? I mean, this doesn't feel like I'd much rather take a shot on a receiver with those picks. Now, the good news is he's got the 1, the 3, and the 5.
Yeah, 1, 3, 5, 11, and 201.
Can I get the 104 for the 105 and the 111? If so, then I can probably shop the 103 or the 104 and try to get a running back. Because it's a start 8. Normally, I don't want to trade for running backs. A start 8, you're not winning the league with Khalil Herbert and Ramondre Stevenson. You're just not. You probably need to get a hammer running back. This would be a team I would want. This is the perfect team to try to get H-An. Like our video last week. Like take the bet. You know what I mean? You need somebody that can put up a Shane crooked number at that RB spot. And it's not Khalil Herbert or Ramondre Stevenson. So you probably do need to get a hammer running back. So if I add Marvin Harrison to this team, I add Shane, can I get Bijan Robinson for the 103? That should be a smash accept for somebody, right? In a start 8, do you think people are biased on the hammers at running back, given it's such a shallow league?
I would think so. I would hope so.
So you add Malik Neighbors, Bijan Robinson, and Marvin Harrison. Can this team now compete?
Yes, it's start 8. You've just added excuse my French, timestamp that. You've added 40% of the top 15 dynasty assets.
I mean, that's what I'd be trying to do, right? I mean, who did he say he was considering? Brock. I'm not drafting Brock Bowers.
Bowers.
Waste of a pick.
Yeah, May and McCarthy.
I'm probably not. I mean, JJ McCarthy and Bo Nix. I hope I don't get to them in a start 8. But
no.
Good thing you have 3 top 5 picks. You got a lot of flexibility.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Here's a hammer from David Filippi, we'll say. He says, Scott, we're now league mates in Kitchen Sink 3. I'm joining via dispersal auction, and you're the reigning champ. As Scott takes a sip, he's like, yep. How the hell to rebuild a team in this wacky league? Kitchen sink. Those are, you just like throw the kitchen sink at the scoring settings, right? It's just bonkers.
You know what's funny is I was in a dispersal in Kitchen Sink 3, I believe, after 2022. And I literally built the team I have in the dispersal in 1 year. So it was literally just not. Here's what I'll say, because Shane's been in Kitchen Sink too, so he can chime in if he wants. kitchen sink, you have to pick a direction and you have to lean into it. People are going to do all kinds of wacky things in the dispersal. You have to be able to very much equate all the assets into whatever values you have on them, because it's a $400 auction budget for the dispersal and everything is auctioned. So there will be people that will spend too little on things that should be valued higher and then way too much on things where you go, there's no way I would pay this much for a running back, because it's not a contract league, but it's a salary league like years. So even if you get Jamar Chase, you get him for 3 or 4 years. That's it. So like the asset's not worth as much as you think it is. So I would just continue to accrue as many points. And literally, David, I don't know what's in the pool. I literally haven't checked that league until MFL rolls over, which apparently they did today. But yeah, I'll be curious what's in the pool. Maybe you can message me on Slack, because that's unfortunately what we use for kitchen sink. Shane, any advice since you were a former kitchen sink member that
No,
frustrated the hell out of you?
No, I was fine with that. I mean, I made the playoffs every year I was in the league. It's just I was accused of collusion, so I didn't want to fucking play in it anymore. But anyway,
and Shane did not collude. I will say he did not collude. It was he got railroaded for no reason, but whatever.
And I just stopped bidding. I was like, all right, I'm out of the league after this year anyway. But I will say, like Scott said, you got to pick a lane, right? So I will note that some of the mistakes you make is when you're trying to be like live on both sides of the fence, where I'm going to get all this. I'm going to try to get some rookie money, but then some players. And I'm just going to have just enough of both, and I'll probably work out in the middle. And what you find is that, no, you won't. You kind of need to lean towards the one side. Like Scott said, with the auction and rookie drafts, make sure that you're buying up all the money or getting out of it. You don't want to be the guy that has, money, but the bids are going out and you can't win any of them.
Indeed. Scott, Chase bought us a hammer here. 12 team, start 9, 1 QB PPR, tight end premium, 1.75 for them. Send Waddle, McBride, 207. Get Amon-Ra St. Brown. I have Laporta, McBride, Kincaid, so looking to move 1. I also have JJ, Puka, Ayuk, Waddle, Wilson, London, and Flowers at wide receiver. What do you think here, Scott?
He bought us a hammer. My hat is a hammer hat, which you can get in the DTI5 merch store. And you're getting a hammer here you're paying a decent amount. I can see why someone else wants to do this deal. But the sealers, you have McBride, Kincaid, and Laporta. Their extrinsic benefit to you is you're moving a tight end and you're getting credited for a lot of what you're moving in this deal. The tight end is you're moving McBride. So if this was, I have to give up Jalen Waddle and Brandon Ayuk for Amon-Ra, it's a little closer, even in a start 9, 1 QB. You know what I mean? Both those guys are starters. But here you're getting credit for moving a tight end, and you already have, 3 of the top 4 tight ends in Dynasty? So you're getting credit for something that you wanted to sell. So I'd say the motivation is enough. You're taking Amon-Ra here. Good deal. Probably works for the other team that probably needed a tight end, and he's probably very happy turning Amon-Ra into Waddle and a top 2 tight end. So good for both of you.
Exactly. It ended up being a good trade fit for sure. For sure. We still have 371 eyeballs in here. We are out of hammers, but thank you so much for joining. Definitely consider joining our Patreon, patreon.com/allgas. Join the Dynasty Trades in 5 tier. You can get in listener leagues. You can get discounts on merch, roster reviews, all of that good stuff. And then we have the all you can eat, as I like to call it, Destination 5 tier. So if you sign up on destinationdevy.com, sign up for the Destination 5 Patreon tier, you get the Heisman group chat, Heisman tier, everything in there, all of our stuff. It's the kitchen sink. It's the kitchen sink of Patrons. So good shit there. And Dynasty Nerds, it's been really cool seeing some affiliate referrals come in from that new partner of ours. Use promo code trades in 5. Consider joining the Nerd Herd, man. It's a kick-ass tool, the Dynasty GM. We're moving all of our roster reviews to there, and you're gonna be able to see me do one with Ty live this Thursday. So check out the GM tool, man. Integrated with Sleeper. It's dope. The integration's kick-ass. Okay, that's all I got, man. That's enough freaking pitching, right?
I'll just say this. We're going to be doing more hammers outside of the stream, but 9:30 was the cutoff to get it into this stream. A couple people mentioned in the chat they submitted hammers too late for tonight. But if we get enough of them, I'll post the link in the chat again. If we get enough of these hammers, we may drop a surprise stream at some point where we can answer some hammers on there. So keep sending them in even when we're off the air. between now and the next stream. And if we get enough, I don't know what enough is. I'll have to work it out with Clay and Shane. But if we get enough, maybe we'll drop a surprise stream. But it will be on the next one if you submit it after 9:30 tonight.
Yeah, yeah. And then lastly, more to come, but roster reviews. I'm designing like a menu to make it easier to understand what the options are, but hit us up, email roster review at dynastytradesin5.com or go to dynastytradesin5.com/roster review. But join us on Thursday. Ty and I are going to do a roster review. He's one of our peer-to-peer guys. And yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Alrighty. That's all I got. Boys, girls, I'm going to end this stream. Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.